today might be the perfect day to tidy up around the house. Starting with furniture, pull up a seat and check out these arranging tips. First, always measure the dimensions of a room. You can add visual interest to any space by using furniture with some different looks. And also be sure to create balance in a room. Now, another way to take care of your furniture in a quick and effective way that brings and restores wood antiques, kitchen cabinets back to life is with Rocky Mountain Lustre. And here's the man with a way to make this DIY project easy is Joe Eldridge, also known as the Wood Guru. All right, so here we go.
Hi.
You have so many options for us. I appreciate this.
We're going to start out first of all with the product as far as this is a little bit different than most products.
I'm just going to leave those over there. We don't need that. Okay.
So what we need to do, we tell people to shake this up.
Okay.
We have the natural oils and the cleaners in here. Right. So you shake it up and you pour.
Can you see that better?
You pour an ample amount on the rag. You don't squirt it on the furniture because it has a little bit of an etcher.
Okay.
So we get it nice and nice and wet. Just.
You go with the grain of the wood?
Go with the grain of the wood. Very good.
Perfect. Look at that.
So just go with the grain of the wood. And what this is doing right now, it's pulling out the dirt, but at the same time it's adding in the linseed oil and tung oil. Then you always want to take a dry rag when you finish. Take off the excess dirt.
Oh, it smells good.
And that will stay there for 6 months.
6 months?
So what this has, this now has linseed oil and tung oil in it, so this will moisturize your finish.
Well, you can tell that it doesn't leave any sticky residue or anything on there as well.
That's the natural oils instead of the petroleum products. That's why.
So tell us about this petroleum. I was quizzing you before we came on the air about this. When it comes to other products, right, that compare to this, why is this different?
That's a good question. Petroleum, when you say the word petroleum, what do you think of? Gasoline, kerosene. You get your oil change. Petroleum, so this is what they do. These are petroleum distillates. They're in these furniture polishes.
Okay.
They're good cleaners. Okay, so what they do when they put it on, it cleans it. Cleans it real well. Then that evaporates. And when it evaporates, it kind of dries out the wood. Yeah. You know, what you can really, measure this too is...
Here, you want to come over here and see this?
We'll do this one too. Same thing. You want to make sure you shake it up real well.
Okay.
Get the rag nice and wet. Just follow the grain. What this does is...
Look at that.
This just enunciates.
Can you see that? Can you see it? Look at that shine.
Okay. And the same thing, you want to make sure that when you're finished, you can do that whole piece. When you finish, take a dry rag, wipe off the excess.
And this can be on any wood?
Any wood.
Any wood.
See what you say, we're working on the finish, and that's what people say. Can it be cherry or walnut, whatever? Yeah. We're working on the finish, so we can do any piece of wood.
I like that. Where can we find this? Do I have to go to your house and knock on your door?
Go on out.
They're like, no, don't come to my house.
You want to do the one more?
Yeah, let's come on down here.
Okay? This
I'm
is the
having fun.
All right. The same thing here. We're going to shake it up, make sure you shake it up well. You can't over oil, but you can under oil. So you want to, I'll go across with this one, same thing.
All right, look at that.
So it has the wet look, that's what we want.
Okay.
If this were one of the petroleum products, it would evaporate and the wet look would go away and be dry. So you do the same thing, dry off the excess.
Get the dried off.
And you have the linseed oil and tung oils to stay there
Look at that. Now, how did you get into this? How did you decide to start doing this? You have the secret recipe.
Well, I started it by working in office buildings and seeing that there was a need for it.
Yeah.
And so people had asked us, what to use. That's why we formulated it. People had asked us when we go into homes to touch it up.
Yeah.
What would you suggest? So we didn't have any suggestions. So we started analyzing all the products out there. The vast majority of them have petroleum. They're great cleaners, like we say.
Right.
But then they evaporate. This oxidizes, so it lays flat. This will seek its own level, and that's why it gives it that dimension, that wet dimension.
I sort of cut you off earlier. I was wondering where we can find this. Tell us where we can get a hold of it.
Well, actually, Ace Hardware stores, all the Ace Hardware's, Guyry's Hardware stores, and True Value, and also on the internet.
Okay.
And also they can call the website to get on it, and also the 88 number that we have.
So, in addition to the petroleum that that you already touched on, what's one of the things that people do wrong when it comes to their wood care? What's something that people just don't get right?
I think there's two elements. First of all, we see a finish, and we say, okay, that's going to stay for a long time. What they really need to do, when we're out there in the field, they'll say, I've had this for 7 years and never touched it. So you have 7 years of that dry air continuing to get on that sort of. So sometimes to me, once you get it right away, put the moisture on it, and that saves it. That keeps it like that. Another thing is, what the other problem is the products they're putting on there. Those petroleum products actually excel the drying aspect of it. Okay. So the more you put it on, the more it dries, the faster the wood breaks down. But we look at this, as we've talked about before, your skin, your face, as you
yeah.
clean it with the astringents, you get it nice and clean, then you put your oils on, the moisturizer. Same with this. This finishes the skin of the wood.
Well, that makes sense because, you put all that stuff on your face and it can dry out your
Right.
skin and all of that, and then once you start to moisturize it, it feels so much better. You've been doing this a long time. You brought your beautiful daughter with you today
Right.
in the studio as well. How long?
We've been doing this for 35 years.
Is that all?
Yeah. But you know what? I've learned a lot in the last 35 years, but I continue to learn. It's an industry that constantly changes. The finishes are changing, the manufacturer is changing, so we have to keep up with it all the time.
We've got one more. Can you do one more with me?
Sure.
Here, let's take
do
a
it.
look at this one. I love this.
Same
Move all these
aspect.
silly
I'm
scripts
not
out
sure
of the
that came off of an end of a table, so it's the same,
Yeah.
same philosophy.
way. Okay,
Can you see that?
I
Well,
can.
Same aspect. And people say,
Aw.
well, that wet look, it'll go away. It doesn't go away. What this has done, the oil, it has etched to the furniture.
It's like a brand new piece.
Yes, and that will stay that way for months, like we say. And
Oh, that's awesome. It's DIY in a bottle, folks. Easily beautify all the wood in your home with Rocky Mountain Lustre, a wood care product that's safe and natural. The product's shine and luster will outlast any other product on the market. Rocky Mountain Lustre is available at Ace Hardware, True Value, Gyrie's stores, and if Rocky Mountain Lustre is not at your Ace store, they will actually place a catalog order for you, or you can call toll-free at 888-645-7565 or hop online to order RockyMountainLustre.com. Primetime Media paid for today's segment.